Well, good evening. On one of the busiest tourist days in Ketchikan this season, tonight police now say that a driver hit two cruise ship passengers, a husband and wife, before the car plunged into Ketchikan Creek.
A 57-year-old woman from Auburn, Indiana, outside of Fort Wayne, was killed. Her husband, who police tell us is a volunteer firefighter from Auburn, injured. Let's take a look at this video of what police were talking about today. They say two bystanders jumped into Ketchikan Creek after the vehicle went in, one breaking the window with a rock to pull the unresponsive driver from the vehicle. This all started just after 8:30 this morning when police say a vehicle exited the Centennial parking lot, struck the pedestrian, broke through a fence, and landed in the water. This is near the Good Fortune restaurant, if you're familiar with that area. The chief described what happened next.
That driver was then pulled or hoisted on top of the roof of that vehicle where one of the KPD officers started CPR. She was eventually moved from the car to the rocks where CPR efforts continued.
The driver regained a pulse and airflow during transport to the hospital. Two others were treated for minor injuries after entering the creek to assist with the rescue. There is some damage to the walking area and infrastructure. Repairs are underway. Ketchikan police are asking the public for more information as they investigate what happened here. You can contact their non-emergency line if you've got information. You can also find an extended version of the press conference we listened in on today on our website and streaming platforms.
We're learning more tonight about the man at the center of a viral video showing a frightening scene last day of the Alaska State Fair, but his quick action saved lives.
Jaden Perry says he acted on instinct. Video on social media shows him literally wrestling a person holding a gun and trying to make sure the barrel stayed pointed to the ground. He says with so many kids and families around, if the gun were to go off, it could have hurt someone. Perry says he was very aware of the fact that he could have been hurt himself or even worse, but he'd do it again.
And I just want people to know, well, honestly, don't try and be a hero like I did. What I did was a little reckless, but there are people that got to go home because of it. And on the bright side, I did as well.
Perry doesn't have any law enforcement or military background. He says he's just a born and raised 24-year-old Alaskan.
Incredible story. And 16 animals were found in the garage of a Wasilla man that was owned by a Wasilla man back in June. That's according to a dispatch from state troopers. Matsu Animal Control reportedly visited the property of 42-year-old Kevin Naher. That property seen on your screen to conduct a welfare check on two animals. While doing so, they found the 16 animals, 13 of which were decaying in the garage for at least 16 months, according to troopers. Matsu Animal Control says that includes 9 rabbits, 6 goats, and a dog. 2 living but severely underweight dogs were also found, as well as a healthy cat. Animal Control took all 3 into their care. Naher posted to X in 2012 that his goal was to qualify for the 2015 Iditarod, but never officially ran the race. Our Joe Allgood is following this story and will update us tonight on the Late Edition.
A Whittier voter misconduct case. For the first time since a grand jury returned criminal charges against 10 American Samoan residents of that city. On the phone and in person Thursday, they pleaded not guilty.
That, as our investigative team's Johnson Kuhn continues his coverage of this story and tells us that in court what the state said, despite objections, they're moving forward with this criminal case. We've got Johnson standing by now.
Try to guess. So the questions of whether this voter misconduct case should move forward played out again in court today. As the state continues arguing that 10 American Samoan residents from Whittier gave misleading citizenship information, while the 10 continue saying Alaska's confusing voter registration systems, including the PFD application, not their malicious actions, led to the charges and should be fixed. The 10 appearing either in person or on the phone pleading not guilty today, as the grand jury indictments come nearly 1 year after troopers questioned the 10 about their citizenship status. The key issue here, the 10, who are all related by blood or marriage, were born in the U.S. territory of American Samoa. That makes them only U.S. nationals, not U.S. citizens. Unlike other U.S. territories, such as Puerto Rico, American Samoans are not automatically citizens. This means they're legally not allowed to participate in state and local elections, which is what the state alleges has been happening from as far back as 2020. In court, the state said they're still waiting to receive evidence as the Pese family's public defender questioned their decision to move forward with the charges.
I've provided the state with ample information about these cases and, why the state's resources would probably be better spent elsewhere aside from prosecuting 10 people with no criminal histories who are upstanding citizens, some of whom are well along in age and receiving cancer treatment.
To the extent that there's questions about the allocations of resources, these are Class C and Class B felonies that each of them have been charged with, set by the legislature. That is, frankly, not an appropriate argument to be made.
Now, the 10 have repeatedly pled not guilty. If sentenced, they could face 5 to 10 years in prison. The next hearing to talk about a potential trial is scheduled for October. Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
Johnson, thanks so much. And rain is falling in Anchorage tonight, and we hear there's more coming.
And there she is, Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry, the forecast for this latest storm. Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to see wet conditions overnight tonight from South Central all the way into the interior. One band of rain moving across the state, making for an active radar tonight. Take a look at all the green that we're seeing on the map. Those showers are going to push north and east. But anywhere you see those pockets of yellows and orange, that's an indication of that heavier rain, which we're seeing right on the Parks Highway south of Talkeetna. Some of those showers pushing into West Anchorage, Midtown as well. And this is going to stick with us through tomorrow morning. So be prepared for a soggy start to the day again tomorrow. Again, those showers extending all the way into the interior. We are seeing some scattered showers tonight on the Kenai Peninsula. I do expect that to wrap up down south pretty quickly. Now, I'm already tracking the next storm system, which is pushing into the western Aleutians. That is bringing wet and very windy conditions to the western and central Aleutians tonight. That's going to continue tomorrow, and that will be the weather maker for South Central as we head into this weekend. Right now, you can see that cloud cover here in Anchorage at just 57. Partly cloudy there in Fairbanks at 62. We still have the sunshine with a little fog in Ketchikan tonight. Palmer sitting at 58. Again, rain moving through the valley tonight. We'll see that rain in Anchorage overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Be ready for a wet morning commute. But the good news is it wraps up pretty quickly. Second half of the day will dry out. We'll even get a few sun breaks in the mix. High temperatures in the low 60s. Fairbanks, you'll also see that rain wrapping up midday. Still dry, sunny and warm in southeast. And Bethel, you'll see that rain in the second half of the day. I'll have a closer look at what you can expect for this coming weekend here next.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much. And still ahead, another edition of We the People.
Yeah, going to take a look at the contributions of Elizabeth Peratrovich and her impact on the state.
In the middle of downtown Anchorage,
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
beside the trolley, surrounded by flowers and visitors, a reminder:
It couldn't have been easy. It had to be very difficult.
Alaska history.
Women fight for their rights.
Have you stopped to read the sign? To learn about our past and the Alaska Native woman who changed everything.
She's largely credited with the passage of the first anti-discrimination bill in the country, 1945. She worked passionately her whole adult life to get that passed. This was almost 20 years before Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Elizabeth Peratrovich.
She became known as one of the greatest speakers of her generation.
An American civil rights activist and Tlingit woman who worked for equality on behalf of Alaska Natives. She was tired of Indigenous people paying taxes and fighting wars for the country, but not having the same rights as white citizens.
And when they moved to Juneau, they were greeted with no natives allowed, no natives or dogs allowed. The different experiences that she had along the way just gave her more wind in her sails.
She gave such a powerful speech to lawmakers that the Alaska Equal Rights Act of 1945 passed and was signed into law.
The entire room was just filled. People were standing on chairs in the back. It was really well attended. And after she finished her talk, people openly wept, and, this huge applause. And They took the vote and, she won.
The governor at the time, on record, saying the bill wouldn't have passed without her.
I think that's very something noble to do. I myself am Alaskan Native, so yeah, I think it's glad to hear someone who's doing something like that for them back then.
Securing her place in history and improving life.
It's probably somebody who we have to learn about it and remember.
For all of us, you can sit here and think about that. Rebecca Palsha, Alaska's news source. Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.